Uh, Jinal, could you unmute yourself and share your screen just to make sure we're...
Yeah, Bradley, could you enable multiple participant sharing screen?
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. It should be okay. All right. Looks good on this end. All right, why don't you start? So this is Jinal Mehta. She is a recent graduate of the iSchool here at the University of Illinois. And she did some research over the last maybe 6 to 9 months on campus apps in North America. So she's going to tell us all about the landscape of campus apps. And so go ahead, Gina, I'll start.
Thank you so much, Bradley, for the lovely introduction. So hello, everybody. This is Jinal, and today I'm going to talk more about the campus-based apps in North America. As we all know, in today's world, with each passing day, more and more people have started using smartphones. They are everywhere. Surveys say that smartphone penetration has reached up to 82% across all age groups and is the highest amongst ages 18 to 29 at a staggering rate of 96%, which is also the age group of the people who are attending college. And thus, in order to capture their attention, campus apps were introduced. However, after the introduction of multiple campus apps, there were several other questions in front of the universities, like how do we streamline communication channels and have a centralized system for all student needs? How do we instantly get connected to the students at any given time? How can we improve the engagement levels of student groups and communities? And lastly, how can we get a quick access to relevant student information for useful insights? And thus, in order to answer all of these questions, the universities came up with the idea of comprehensive campus apps. However, in order to dive deep into the need of why these campus apps are necessary, we need to address some key questions. Firstly, into what categories can these apps be classified? What are the most popular features in these apps? On which platforms does these apps are developed, and which campus apps have the highest number of features? In order to understand the popularity of these apps, we took a sample size of 60 universities spanning across the demographics of Northern America to understand whether they have built an app or not, and if yes, what all features does it have in it? So based on the different apps that we conducted our research on, we deduced that these apps can be divided into 5 different categories, namely academics, student life, prospective students, wellness, and comprehensive apps. Here is a division of universities based on the kind of feature its app provides to the user, where the academic apps mainly focus on class schedules, enabling the student to view his or her grades, etc. The student life app mainly focuses on the events occurring on campus, various student clubs that a student could be a part of as per his or her interests and liking. The prospective students app is mainly for the new incoming students. This app helps the student navigate his or her way through the campus in their initial days, provides them with a list of things to be bought on the first day of college, helps them to know the schedule of events occurring during the orientation week, etc. The wellness app focuses on the student's well-being, be it mental or physical, and offers different services for the same to the student as well. Lastly, as you can see, the most popular category of these apps is the comprehensive app, because it not only focuses on the academic part, but also focuses or emphasizes on the students' wellness, along with helping them navigate through various activities that are happening on campus. Moving forward, let's have a look at the features these comprehensive apps have and which one amongst them are the most popular ones. Out of the 60 campus apps that we surveyed, 44 of them have the map feature, 39 have the event feature, 35 have the bus schedules and the course schedule features, 34 have the dining feature, and 33 have the news feature. However, there are some features that are not available in majority of the apps, and inclusion of these features would be appreciated by the students and the staff of the college. These features are the new student orientation feature, wellness, learning management system, as well as career services feature. Let's have a look at the universities that have the highest number of most popular features. Leading the way is Arizona State University with 14 out of 18 features, followed very closely by Penn State with 13 out of the 18 features. Whereas UIUC, University of Texas at Dallas, Ohio State, and Hofstra have 12 out of the 18 features, with Duke and Illinois Institute of Technology at 11, along with Texas Tech and Princeton with 10 out of the 18 features. As much as categories, popular features, and universities having those popular features are important, let us understand the app development technologies. There are mainly two categories of app development. One is the proprietary app, and second is the open source app. Proprietary apps can be classified into two categories, mainly university developed app, campus and company developed app, which is also a third-party developed app. Here is a list of universities that have an in-house app development team, as you can see, with Boston, Arizona State University, Ohio State University, University of Texas at Dallas, Duke University. And amongst them, there is also another list of universities that have partnered with the third-party app developer vendors, out of which Modo Labs, Guidebook, and Blackboard are the most popular ones. Out of the 60 apps that I surveyed, only UIUC has developed an app using an open source platform called as the Illinois app, about which we'll speak in brief later on. And the rest 59 apps are all proprietary apps. Thus, after doing the research for various campus-based apps and making note of the following findings all along, I decided to take one step forward and reach out to the app development team of these universities in order to know more about their existing app and their upcoming plans for the same. Out of the universities that responded were Princeton, Boston, University of Nebraska, along with a third-party app vendor called as the Ready Education app. From the survey, we deduced that apart from University of Nebraska, if a student is not part of the university, he or she can still skim through the various features of the app. Apart from Princeton University, all of them have an in-house team to develop the app, whereas Princeton has partnered with Blackboard. As of now, Princeton University does not have any plan to make any changes in the existing app. However, University of Nebraska plans to add features like bookstore page, schedule of events during orientation week, etc. Lastly, apart from Boston University, whose app is available only on the App Store, the rest of the three apps are available on both the platforms, that is iOS and Androids. After looking at the apps built by other universities, I would like to show you a glimpse of the Illinois app, the comprehensive campus app of the U of I that's built on an open source platform called Rockwire. As you can see, the app provides information about a lot of things, right from dining to wellness, thereby consolidating several different apps or websites into a single app. Another app built on the Rockwire platform is the Safer app, which helps the students, faculty, and staff at the university manage their COVID-19 status. As you can see here, our open source platform was not only used to build a safer app for the U of I, but it was also used to build a safer app for the Vanderbilt University. And if you would like to be a part of the Rockwire community, You can get started by initially subscribing to our newsletter and visit our website or reach out to our open source community manager, Dr. Bradley Alicia at balicia@illinois.edu for further information. Thus, after surveying these apps, we got to know that universities across USA that have launched their own apps are mostly comprehensive apps rather than individual apps. Maps, events, bus and course schedules, dining and news are the most popular features, and campus apps of U, Penn State, UIUC, etc. have the most number of these popular features in them respectively. And amongst the third-party app developer companies, Guidebook and Modo Labs are the most popular ones. And lastly, Rockwire is an example of an open source comprehensive platform. You can download our white paper here, and you could download the Illinois app as well. And I would like to thank you all for your time. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Jinal. I'd like to open the floor for questions, comments. Let's have a little bit of discussion before we get into the Illinois app presentation. You can put your comments in the chat. That works best, and I can read them off. So I had a question to start. So first of all, in maybe the fourth slide, if you could go to back to the fourth slide, I think. You had a word cloud, and that word cloud had a bunch of terms, and some were bigger and some were smaller. So what is it? What does that word cloud represent? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. So the word cloud basically represents the different kinds of features that an app, a comprehensive app, would generally have. And depending on the size of the word cloud, let's say wellness or laundry or shuttle or course schedules or dining, these are signify which features were more prominent out of the campus apps that I surveyed upon. And the smaller ones that are probably news or maybe menu or directory, those were the less prominent ones. So depending on those, on the prominence, I decided to develop a word cloud, which would then eventually lead to a comprehensive app.
So campus apps is really big. So that's every time it was mentioned. So this is in like you have some data set that you're working from, correct?
Yes. I had researched approximately 60 universities, along with seeing which all features each university had, what features were prominent, what features were not, what features were coming into progress, and I developed an Excel sheet of the same. So these words or the word cloud in general represents data from that particular Excel, and the size of these words represents the prominence of those features in those apps.
Could you go back to the slide, sort of the grid? All right. What could you go to? Yes, this slide actually, 15. Thank you. So this slide is based on, you did some research for this that was beyond that 60, sampling the 60 campuses. Could you explain a little bit about that research?
Sure. So I reached out to the IT team of the universities that I had included in my Excel or included in my survey, reached out to the developers and the IT support team over a couple of times for all of these universities. And I had prepared a set of questionnaire which helped them, condense information. And out of the universities that I reached out to, 3 universities and 1 third-party app vendor uh, got back to me with the information that could be condensed further and put into the slide. So that was the entire procedure of how I got these this information. And I also took this course or did this research in order to understand what are the future plans of the universities that we are looking into. Just in order to get a little bit more clarity as to how truthful is the research or the survey that I have done so far is. So cleared out some questions or doubts regarding my survey as well, and got to know their future plans too.
Finally, I had a question about, you say that Rockware is the only open source platform, or at the University of Illinois is the only school using an open source platform. But what about these other third-party companies? Are they open source, or what? How are you defining open source?
So these third-party vendors, basically, they collaborate with the universities that reach out to them, and they charge for that particular collaboration or whenever they offer their services. However, as far as my knowledge goes, Rockwire is a community wherein you have a GitHub repository wherein people can push their codes, and people can work in a collaborative way, which is not proprietary. So that is a huge difference which separates the UFI app or the Illinois app or Rockwire community from these particular, all of these universities that we are talking about right now. And that is what makes us different as well, wherein we are up for collaboration. We are looking out for people who would want to collaborate with us by clicking on the link that we've had in the slide, or just by going on or trying to be a part of our community. But these proprietary apps is wholly and solely, they sell their services. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. Do we have any other questions or comments? You can put them in the chat. Okay, Jeff had a question, Jeff Mahafa, and he says, are there specific career service lookup tools that are helpful for students within Rockwire? I guess that would be maybe with respect to the Illinois app, and Isaac will tell us maybe more about that coming up. But, this is something that I think Jinal mentioned, that this was a sort of an underrepresented app across North America. And so I think we're going to see a little bit about that.
Correct. And just to quickly add on or give a very brief overview about it, we do have vocational wellness as a part of our wellness feature in the app, which helps us understand, or which helps the student navigate their way through the career services feature as well. So Jeff, Isaac definitely will elaborate more on this, but to answer your question in a small way, is that yes, UFI or Illinois app does have that feature in that.
And so I had one more question too, and this leads kind of into where we're going. This idea of an underrepresented feature. So this is like just where it would be found in one or two platforms or one or two schools across your sample. Is that correct?
For some features, yes. For example, wellness is not as much as focused on, or it's just there for the sake of it, but playing around with that feature, helping the students make an appointment, or showing their whatever status reports of their appointment on the app. Stuff like that are a little bit underdeveloped, and maybe apart from the wellness app, but for the other, maybe new orientation or LMS, a handful of them might be doing, but not a majority of them, because they are yet to explore that side. And that's why it's included in the presentation, just so that people are aware about the same. And if they would want to develop things in the future, let's say University of Nebraska is planning to put bookstore feature, which is a very cool feature, and also helps a lot of students, to understand the availability of the books which the professor must have asked in the class, or other stuff of the same kind. So these features were included in the presentation just so that people get an exposure, or to create an awareness about that these features would be needed in the future, and adding them would be a great benefit to the students as well as the staff.
Thank you. So Jeff had another question. Could you please review for us a bit of the privacy concerns a user might have? So this is, something that I think Isaac will talk about it with respect to the Illinois app, but there are, a lot of privacy concerns with data and building different features into these apps. So I don't want to get too much into it right now. Maybe Isaac will talk about it in his presentation, but I think to set up Isaac's talk on the Illinois app, so we've seen that some schools are pursuing a strategy of having specific apps. So, there was maybe one school that just had a wellness app, or, other schools that have a couple of different apps for different things. And then we have these comprehensive apps, which are where you have many different, features in a single app. And so this is what the Illinois app is. And Isaac, if you could let Isaac share his screen, Gino, thank you for presenting.
Thank you so much.
This is what the Illinois app has become. It's got a great number of features for a campus app. So Isaac is with Tech Services, and he's also the product manager for the Illinois app. He works with Rockwire here, and so take it away, Isaac.
Thanks for the intro, Bradley. Very nice to be here, and thanks for joining us today. I'm going to do a review of some of the features of the Illinois app, and we'll talk a bit about some of the new features that have debuted this fall. And we are going to get to some of the conversation that's already come up. So I appreciate the questions leading in. So welcome. Just a little bit about me. My name's Isaac. Here's my email address. I am the product owner for the Illinois app, focused on the Illinois app with technology services. I also contribute a lot to the Safer Illinois app and that implementation of that technology on campus. And that's been an experience that will also help in expanding the reach of the Illinois app. So I work as a bridge between the business owners and the stakeholders on campus and the technical teams, be that the developers or the QA team or anyone who's interested in contributing. So we try to make those connections happen. And I also work to highlight the value created by the app in a variety of different ways, either through presentations like this one or through providing metrics to leadership or stakeholders and other things that we can do. So this is one of our favorite bits about the Illinois app and concerns privacy is when you start up the app and you can log in, and at any point you can control how much data you're sharing with the app and how much information you want to share with other pieces of the ecosystem through our privacy level chooser. You can go in and adjust that at any time in the settings menu, and those changes are reflected immediately. One feature that we also really like is that you're able to remove your information from the system at any time. So anytime you no longer want to have your information represented in the app, you're able to go in and do that. And so that's a bit of privacy feature that we're really, really proud of. As it comes to student security and how we handle information and data from on-campus systems, we actually, every feature and every release that we do, we collaborate with the Tech Services Privacy and Security Office, who reviews our methods of data handling and all of our infrastructure. We also have a great group on campus of faculty members and other concerned parties who help us with our privacy policy and all of the privacy concerns around handling student data, and from all the way from practical and legal concern to perception concerns and how things are going to be interpreted. because a lot of the things that we do sometimes are controversial, particularly with Safer Illinois. When that was introduced, we had a lot of hurdles to get over to introduce that application, the technology to campus. But we are very happy with how that turned out and our ability to securely deliver sensitive information to students. This is a feature of our app, and it's considered with all the features as we introduce them. I forgot that there was, wow, that's slow. Okay. All right, one of the really exciting things about our app is that it's useful by anyone who's part of our U of I community. So either a student or an employee, or if you're just visiting campus for athletics event and any sport, we support all the different varsity sports. Or if you're a parent, there's resources for you. Or so these are the ones I happen to check when I set up my app. I'm a university employee, a fan of the athletics teams, and an alum. And there's great features for everybody. So go ahead and you can change also your affiliation at any time and be able to make the experience a bit more personalized for you. If you connect your net ID and go ahead and log in with your net ID and password, there's some other exciting features that we enable, like your Illini ID, which can be used at various places around campus, such as scanning into the ARC or entering the dining services facilities. You're able to use that there. You're also gain access to other services that are gaining in popularity, and we'll go along with those a little later. Illini Cash is another feature that we have integrated with the app. You're able to spend and buy Illini Cash in the app. You're able to use the app as your MTD bus pass and show that as your boarding for any routes that you do have to show your pass for. And there's other things as well, and we're always adding more. So there's a lot of value in connecting your net ID and makes this a very Illinois specific experience. One of our most used features here is discovering events. So there's a whole fully featured events section in the app that you can either browse all of the events, or you can go ahead and browse based on categories or tags or the athletic teams that appeal to you. There's all sorts of listings: concerts, sports, lectures, professional development, club meetings, many different types of events. This is a picture from Engineering Open House, the Tesla Coil concert. It's always something really exciting to see. So if you haven't witnessed it, I highly recommend you check that out. The events section, I know folks are going to ask, there's two ways that we populate the events. One is we actually connect to the Web Tools system, the Web Tools calendar system. So if you publish a Web Tools calendar, chances are very good that our app is already reflecting your events with no additional need to set that up. If you have a need for a more fully featured and more mobile specific with some additional features, we have another interface that we call the Events Manager. That's part of the Rockwire infrastructure. And we can look at one of the things enabled by using the Events Manager is something new, and we call it Super Events. Now, Super Events debuted, kind of soft debut last year, but we've been fleshing out the features even more this year. One of our biggest events in there is called Welcome Week, and it's sponsored by New Student Programs. It's a variety. It's a bunch of different events that make up one big one. So nice features of the super events is it lets you combine multiple events into one. So you'll see here on the right side, I'm not sure if you see my cursor where I'm hovering over, but you see here over on the right side where there's 5 main events, and then if you tap through here down at the bottom where it says All Welcome Week 2021, you'll see the whole list of events because there are many, and these are just the featured items. You'll see this little star here. So this star, if someone were to tap on it, that does a couple of things. One, it will add that event to your starred list, so it's saved for later, very easy to access in the app. The other thing it does is that opts you into notifications. Now, in the event, during a super event, in the event of a weather issue, or in the event of an emergency need to change either a schedule or cancel an event, the event organizers working through our event manager interface are able to go ahead and reach out to anyone who's starred and opted in to receive those notifications. So very handy features. We've gotten some great feedback on that. And the more that we're able to get people into using the events manager, the better it's going to be. So hopefully some of you have needs and are willing to reach out and work with us to get your super events published. Also very popular in the Illinois app, we have dining and residence hall services, the locations list, menus, nutrition information, and we also have a laundry integration that we're working on improving at this time as well, where students living in the residence halls could see their local laundry room and see how many machines are available or in use, and be able to manage their laundry usage that way. When it comes to menus, we have some very powerful features for students to be able to indicate, or dining hall users to be able to indicate their preferences in terms of meal, either ingredients or meal types. They're able to state whether they want to avoid certain allergens or other ingredients in meals. It's very powerful search capability, and it will exclude items that don't meet someone's nutritional goals. So really great feature there. We get a lot of positive feedback on that, as well as locations, and menu items are other pieces that you can star so that you can quickly access those from the app. We have a brand new feature this fall that we've started using. It's called groups. You can create groups in the app. If you look at the right screenshot, you'll see that there's a variety of different group types. And you can create groups, and that lets you post announcements or discussions and share events for your social or academic group or whatever kind of other group you might be interested in creating. On the left there is the community onboarding Rockwire group that's run by Bradley here. And this is a group that people can request to join and to learn more information about how to become a Rockwire open source contributor. So please take a look in the app, and you'll find that group in the listing, and you'll be able to go ahead and join his group and hopefully learn more as we release documents or as we have events for members of the Rockwire open source community. We're really excited about expanding these groups to some new places in the spring. One group that we're really excited to start working with is Student Affairs Housing Department. We're working with them to create an opt-in, an opt-out group experience for all of the students living in the residence halls. So we'll have groups that are created for communities that are either living learning communities or residence hall floors or the complete residence halls. And we'll have staff members in the residence halls managing those groups and managing the memberships. And working to communicate any fun events or any announcements that those students need to know while living in the residence hall. So very exciting that we're able to bring this communication platform to campus and provide an alternative to the traditional methods of setting up a Facebook page or something that's not, maybe has different concerns for people to join. So really excited about the group's features and getting feedback and building out this capability. At this time, any member, full-time staff or faculty member can go and create a group. If you're on the main groups listing page, you'll see a little create button up here on the right. Towards the top of the screen there. And so we encourage folks to go ahead and create groups. There is public groups or private groups. So if you have need to create a private group in the app, you can go ahead and do that, and it will not be part of the listing, but people can find it and request to join by hitting the little looking glass icon and searching there. Also new this year is the student guide. So we've added a full feature student guide with a basic content management system that helps students find various resources available to them on campus. The initial run was based on our engagement with the new student programs. They have a booklet that they share with all the freshmen. And I guess this year we had a lot of first year students on campus who were sophomores as well. But they share this printed manual that contains a lot of different resources. But that printed book, it's not always available when you need it. So we worked with them to bring those resources into the app. So on the left side there, that screenshot is our health and wellness category. And there are the exercise subtopic. And there's a whole list of resources that one would be able to look at there. And I do believe the question earlier about campus resources for career services, there are entries in there for career services. Some of the students that we work with, so we have a couple students on our team who we work with to edit some of this content. They actually did tell us how, we asked, what are some of the things now that you're seniors, they're both seniors, what are some of the things you wish you knew about earlier in your academic career? And career services is actually one of them. They thought it was really valuable to have someone who can look at your resume and also do mock interviews and things like that. So we really try to go ahead and we actually had career services highlighted during the first couple of weeks of the terms. So on the right side there, I'll show you here on the right side. You see we're looking at the home page right here on the bottom navigation bar. But we actually have a section in there where we can highlight specific resources for timed campaigns. And we could also highlight them to certain populations. If someone's a student or a staff member or a parent, we can have targeted campaigns like that as well. But we do give the opportunity to highlight things and bring them up to the front page. And using the star, again, that's a concept you'll see across a lot of the different items in the Illinois app. You can go ahead and save resources for more convenient access in the future. And then another one of our highly used features is game day experience and tickets. So we worked with DIA and we've got a number of different features around schedules and rosters and scores, live scores, pre-game notification, post-game notification, and news, maps, parking information. It's a very robust section of the app. And that's something we're also working closely with DIA and other parties interested there and hoping to flesh out. And we're really excited about that. So that is the end of my presentation. So thank you for letting me present here, and I'd be happy to take some questions or any feedback. So thanks.
So again, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. This is very exciting stuff. It's nice to see this development and to have it sort of, all sort of shown for people to see. Yeah, so we were talking about some of the student, we were talking about the student guide in one of the questions earlier. And so this is pretty exciting where you have the student guide now on your phone instead of in a book that you have to carry around. And, so is this something that, can you customize this if you're a student and you have, not all students have the same sort of needs when they're getting oriented to campus. Is this something that's customizable?
Definitely one of the goals of the Illinois app is to provide the most relevant experience at the right time. The new student guide being something just introduced is not a very, it's not a well-trained algorithm that presents materials yet, but certainly we're working with partners and we're always looking at ways to make the app smarter and make the content more relevant. So hopefully in the not too distant future, that is something that will be available. I know right now we're working with a student group, or we're trying to work with a student group. Well, we are working with a student group who's going to have access to some of the events information. And this is, before anyone gets too concerned, I mean, it's all certainly de-identified information and their access has been reviewed by the IRB. So the IRB is aware of this usage of information. But we're looking at ways to improve events recommendations right now to users of the app, and certainly other resources would be included in that in the future.
When you say algorithm, you mean like an application of machine learning or something like that?
Absolutely, yeah, machine learning or other types of algorithms. We're pretty excited to have the opportunity to bring, Rockwire is a platform that's been built here at Illinois, and everything that we do in the Illinois app is managed by, Tech Services, NCSA, and some of our other partners. And so this is there's no outside company who's getting our data and doing things with it. So because of that, we're able to do some kind of unique and fun things with that data, including making that part of the academic mission of the university. And hopefully we're able to encourage research and other kind of coursework using the app and the data that we generate as a real live laboratory. So we're very excited about that possibility and the practice.
Do we have any other questions? You can put them in the chat. There's one. Kara Francis. Is there a summary somewhere of who owns certain sections of the app? So like is it you that owns the entire app, or are there contact people who, are responsible for certain features, or how does that work?
That's a
example. For example, in academic support menus, etc.
Yeah, if you mean the student guide section, in that particular, you could reach out to either us at the Rockwire team, myself or Bradley, or the new student programs. We base most of our information to start with on them, but I would say that information is managed by our team here. Our on the call is also Joe Grohans, and he helps us with managing that material. Him and his team manage the content that's made available in there. So just reach out to myself or Joe, and we can try to get other items added. We would like to work on we do have designs for in the future for us to be able to have additional content editors able to create new entries and edit those entries themselves, but the management interface just isn't there quite yet.
Thank you. Any other questions? Put them in the chat. I actually, you presented on 3.0 and version 3.0 is brand new. And I know maybe we're not looking off into the distant future, but what is the sort of roadmap for the future? What are sort of the next steps in the development and maintenance of the Illinois app?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a really exciting engagement we're starting on now in support of the IMBA program, working with the Hughes College of Business. So that's something that we're hoping will be debuting in the not too distant future to help them with onboarding their global classroom of students, a lot of whom are primarily working from a mobile device, either a cell phone or a tablet. So, the Rockwire platform seemed like a great fit to help bring them and quickly develop a process for them. We're working to flesh out some of the other features and improve the recommendations is definitely a high level. I think you'll see in the next couple months, our homepage we know it's a little long right now, and there's a lot of information on the homepage of the app, but we're definitely looking at ways to make that a more personalized and smart layout so that adjusts to the user and maybe brings content to the top that the user has indicated that they're interested in through their interactions with the app, and looking at ways to improve on that. So I think those are two places that I think are most exciting in the near future.
That's great. That's great. So thinking back to Jinal's presentation on the different campus apps, I mean, I wanted to contrast and compare maybe with some of the ways that people are developing apps. So definitely people are trying to go in this direction of the comprehensive app. But then, we have an example here in Illinois of how this is being developed. And so in this case, of course, we're working from an open source platform. So, we're actively trying to find ways, to improve the Illinois app and other types of things that you might be able to add to an app like this. And these could be, things that don't exist yet, or they could be additions to features. And so in the coming months, we'll be trying to solicit ideas and working with people to improve upon the app. So stay tuned for that. I think it's really exciting work. So thank you for presenting, Isaac. And thank you for presenting, Jinal. I think your work is really interesting. And I think, it's definitely something that I know you got through it in about 20 minutes, but it's definitely something that I think deserves to be unpacked a little bit more, but in any case, and we have data that we kind of highlighted some of the data here, but we have additional data on some, in the survey of different things that, are going on across the country in terms of the state of the art of campus app development. So.
Thank you so much, Bradley.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much, Isaac. The presentation was lovely and very insightful, especially for people who do not know what the new version brings in and what is in store for the faculty, students, and the staff who are on campus currently. So it was very insightful. Thank you.
So
yes, thank you for your research, Jinal, and thank you for the opportunity and the invite to present today, Bradley. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So a couple of things before we wrap it up. So this talk will be recorded, and if you're interested, contact me and I can send the link out. I'll be sending it out and some of our other channels to people as well. So we're going to be recording all these sessions and putting them on YouTube, and we'll be able to see them afterwards. So if people know, a couple of people actually asked me, they were going to have to miss it if they could see it afterwards, and I said yes. And so Ken Taylor says thank you for the presentations. So thank you, Ken, for attending. And next week we're going to be shifting gears a little bit. These first 2 weeks we've been talking about campus and campus apps, and now we're going to be talking about how you can use the Rockwire platform and perhaps the Illinois app for doing social science research. So this is a little bit different than like collecting data for like a purpose. Oh, Kara Francis asked, is there an approval process for creating groups? Do you want to take that, Isaac?
No, that capability is available to anyone who's a faculty or staff member on campus.
So, yeah, so next week is going to be a talk. It's going to be by a person from the Center for Social and Behavioral Sciences, Peter, and he's going to be talking about how they're going to be using Rockwire, and they're going to be using this type of mobile technology to do social science research. So this is surveys. This is includes other types of sampling techniques like what Jinal presented on, but doing this all through a phone and then treating the data very securely, because there are a lot of concerns, especially doing social science research, in terms of keeping data safe and protected and de-identified. And so Peter Ondish is going to talk about this next week at the same time of the week, Wednesday at noon. I'll be sending out some advertisements for that talk. Hope to see you there. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact me. And thank you for attending.
Thank you so much, Bradley.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.